I believe that the points and savings space has been neglected over the past 2 decades.
There's just a huge gap between the innovation of spending and the gambling side, but no innovation of the savings side.
Today, you need a dual income family and you still can't buy a house. A lot of people in our generation are turning towards gambling. The majority of people lose money on Polymarket, or they lose money on Kalshi, right?
I don't want to be saving for the rest of my life, be 80 years old, have good savings, but then I can't go climb the mountain I want to do. I can't go swim in the lake. I can't do things. I'm going to bed at 8 p.m., right? I don't want to do that.
We're offering you a solution that, is earning more than your interest rate. You can actually still have experiences, but build your wealth in a world where that seems difficult.
We also want you to be able to use your greatest asset, which is not money, it's not points, it's your time.
How do we make savings as exciting as spending?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Stiles, CEO of Symphony.
Hey, I'm Vic, the co-founder and CEO here at Symphony.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm the CTO here at Symphony.
Hey, I'm James. I'm one of the co-founders and CBO here at Symphony.
Symphony essentially is a savings account that gives you 5% APY. The interesting twist on this is that you get all your interest as credit card points. And we partner with some of the largest airlines and hotels around the entire world. So you can take the points you earn from Symphony and transfer them to some of the biggest global airlines to get really cheap upgrades on business class flights, first class flights, free flights, hotel stays, villas in Thailand, whatever it is you really want to do.
Tell me a bit about, they're like credit card points.
Yeah, so points are very, very powerful if you know how to use them. So when someone understands how valuable a point is, they'll go to very long lengths to get these points. I even have friends who go to debt on their credit cards to get more points.
Really?
Yeah, some pretty close friends actually.
They like
you want
to
to name
travel.
them on the show?
Maybe not on the camera, but
They love their points.
they love their points, yeah. And I met someone yesterday who literally she opened an LLC up and she used her build card to pay her own LLC and pays the 3% credit card fees, basically paying herself and just paying the fees to the credit card company to more build points. So she's saying she's spending $7,000 to get 40K points. She's just losing 7K to get 40K points essentially, because it's more valuable for all the flights she wants to do than just buying the flights themselves. If you know how to use your points, and that's a tricky part, and that's why I think lots of people we're working with are these points experts who have big Instagram followings and big YouTube followings, which they can explain to you how to use your points effectively.
It's very complex. Well,
yeah, in the launch video, I said that 100K points get you a first class flight to Japan. But that's if you use it effectively, right? You have to see which other partner airlines you could use, and then find a day and then transfer your points to the airline.
Okay.
Most people use the travel portal on Chase or Amex, and that's the worst redemption. That's essentially just buying it with cash at some level, 1 cent redemption. But you can get that 1 cent. So in the back-end world, the points world, every point equals 1 cent. So you can get that 1 cent up to even 10 cents if you do it effectively. So if you think about it, this 5% APY, if you know how to use your points, can be almost 20% APY if you're using it only for travel.
there's so much to talk about here too, because it's funny that you mentioned that people are doing this and going into debt because of it, right? And that's one point I wanted to mention too, is we're offering the alternative solution. So it's people do it because it's fun and they want these points and it's rewarding, right? And we wanted to make savings, because I think traditionally savings feels like a sacrifice. I'm putting it away, don't want to touch it. I'll come back in 20 years and hopefully I have my nest egg for retiring or something, right? But it feels like a sacrifice today to hopefully have a better future tomorrow. Where we wanted to make it where savings could be just as rewarding, exciting as spending, but instead of your friend going into debt, right, to earn these points, is they can just save money, earn the same amount of points, if not more, because we actually have an appreciating points program, rather, where almost every other program is a depreciating, because they keep changing the amount of points you can use for vacations or what, but they give you the same amount per swipe. Where you're actually compounding on points on our system, but you're not going into debt, right? That's the difference. We make it much more exciting that way. It's not just the points; it's what the points give you, right? And so experiences in real life, connections, doing things that you think were outside of your possibilities, right? Whether that's tickets to the World Cup or I don't know, the Kentucky Derby or something, picking herbs in the Pope's garden, right? Those kind of experiences that no one even knows are a thing or feel like they have access to. But we can do that while incentivizing smarter financial habits.
How did Symphony come to life? What was your vision for Symphony?
I can take that one.
Yeah, go for it.
So a few of us met. We're missing one co-founder here, but a few of us met at Deloitte, and that's where we started out as blockchain engineers, building blockchain projects for the government super early on, back in 2017, 2018. And then we all came back together after that and decided to start Symphony. And it's pretty interesting. Symphony started much more as an infrastructure type company, so building out more B2B, and we built this pretty cool cross-chain infrastructure that processed almost $500 million in volume and it was good for back end of different types of projects. And then we really wanted to come to actually put a consumer face on top of that. So the same infrastructure we created years ago is what's powering the Symphony Savings app today. And it's enabling us to get this really high interest rate and find different yield opportunities for users and then power the points and everything like that.
I believe that the points and savings space has been neglected over the past 2 decades, and that I love that you guys have seen, like, that was a big white space. So why don't we actually go into, I'll kick it off with you. Like, I love disruptive companies, and I've worked with many disruptive companies, and I love what Symphony is doing is disrupting the banks essentially and credit card companies in a positive way. And I think that there's a lot of ways, a very positive way, that there's a lot of opportunity for us to collaborate and work together.
So what we noticed is that we weren't really deep into like the normal financial space, right? We're like, what has not really been disrupted in years? And what we noticed is the savings space has not been disrupted in over 2 decades. But we noticed that spending has had some of the most exciting upgrades, and gambling has the most exciting innovations in the last like 2 decades, right? Prediction markets, sports betting. Sports betting's up by 300% in the last 2 years.
300%?
Yeah, 300% in the last 2 years.
And then they keep adding like new features like double your bet and parlays and these new things, or like quick bets, like.
But the problem is there's only a very small percent of people that are actually winning.
Yeah, no one's really winning in the long run.
That's why they make money.
Yeah,
they make a lot of money because people keep losing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at casinos and gambling. Like,
there's no difference.
There's no difference. You go there and there's thousands of people that are just like sitting at the slot machines.
You have online casinos now that are popping off.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's insane.
Yeah. And I guess, especially with the spending category, like every credit card now is like the new shiny card. They're actually shiny as well now. And you get these amazing points and miles and everything like that. And we noticed like, there's just a huge gap between the innovation of spending and the gambling side, but no innovation in the saving side or even investing side at some level, right? So that's a white space we basically found. And we're like, how do we make savings as exciting as spending? And that's what kind of gave birth to the product which we came to today. I think one really good book I've read a long time ago was by Peter Thiel, 0 to 1. And he mentions that the best companies have no competition. Think Palantir, no competition. Every company he's made has had no competition. It's its own one of one category. But if you're one of one type company like points on savings, which doesn't exist at all, then you're playing in your own field and you can really grow as fast as possible and be as disruptive as possible.
Well, it's a whole new category that y'all created.
Yeah, a product that's super simple and easy to understand. It sounds like, obvious, often are the best ones. It sounds like a high yield savings account with points, but it's in reality what it is defining this new industry of where savings can be rewarding, like actually rewarding and incentivized in the same way how credit cards came out. Because if credit cards didn't have any rewards tied to them, not many people would be using them as much as they are today, right? And they have to find a new industry for it. It's a huge industry. And we could do the same thing for savings and other smarter financial tools. And then you're kind of creating this whole new category of a rewards layer also.
Exactly, and that leads me to the next question. It's very mission driven. I think financial literacy is something that you guys are working really hard to educate the mass consumers.
I'll start with actually a point I heard James make yesterday at the event, was that I think one of the best ways to help financial literacy is to abstract away all the learning process behind it. So like the app, right? We're not explaining to you we show you how it's important because we can see inside the app when you join that if you put $500 a month, you'll have X amount of money in 10 years. And then the next step is just deposit money and see it grow. And I think that's one of the best ways to show people, just demonstrate to them the power of it, compound interest and things like that. I think the second part of the mission, which we really hit in the launch video was that we also want people to not think of savings as just like a bucket where you throw your money into it and it's just like almost like dead weight, right? It's just sitting there not doing anything. The whole like big goal of the company is also to help people like live their lives to the fullest, and while they're being financially healthy and responsible. And that was like the big thing we're trying to hit in the launch video. But I mean, that's also how we like to do as founders, right? Like we all travel a lot. We still work really hard, but we also like to travel and experience different things in life. And I think lots of people just like put the experiencing life part to the side. And then they might be much older and then they have regret that they didn't get to experience what they wanted to because they were just so focused on grinding, saving money. And okay, yeah, maybe you retire early, but
health is wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Money,
you can go ahead.
money means nothing but what you can do with it, right? Sitting in the bank, it doesn't help you in most terms, right? You're not making memories, you're not making experiences. You have to be smart about what you do, and that's what we want. But we also want you to be able to use your greatest asset, which is not money, it's not points, it's your time, right? So like, I personally, I don't want to, be like saving for the rest of my life, be 80 years old, have like good savings, but then I can't go climb the mountain I want to do. I can't go swim in the lake. I can't do things. I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. Right? I don't want to do that. I want to live my life today and make memories today because I love it. Because tomorrow's never a given in my mind. But you still have to make smarter decisions for your future, right? And it's like Vic was mentioning, like you don't want to live with regret. You think to next year, you think the opportunity is always going to be there, and a lot of times it's not. And then it even expands past that, right? Like I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on like, that country you've never been to or experience you've never done. But even the small things that we kind of can unlock too for people, it's like maybe you want to see your family more. Like maybe you live in another state like I do. I want to see my family. The flights can be very expensive, right? So that flight being free for me is now a chance for me to go see my family more.
I think Symphony has like a special focus on a generation that I think feels disadvantaged from the current financial system. And
Interesting.
I think there's and there's a lot of different aspects of this. There's whether the interest rates are going up and they can't get loans, or there's you hear about in the 50s a single working parent could support an entire family, but today you need a dual income family and you still can't buy a house.
Yeah.
And I think that's a
It's
huge
ridiculous.
problem, with this generation, that they feel like I can't really get ahead. And I think that combined with more existential, career risks like AI, people feel like they have less opportunity if, already it's really hard to afford a house, and then you have AI coming in that might take your job. It's like, where do you turn to next to actually build wealth and have this nest egg? And I think a lot of people in our generation are turning towards like gambling in a bunch of different ways, whether it's like direct gambling, whether it's like prediction markets. And if you actually peel back the statistics, it's 80 to 90 or upwards percent of people lose on these. So for prediction markets, we always hear the good stories about, oh, this person bet on something, they won a lot, or they gambled on a game and they knew it and they were able to quit their job and they gamble full time. And we hear about those, and I think that gets everyone excited.
Yep.
But that's not the majority of people. This is like a solution where we're giving you real financial gain that's much more certain, and it's a better financial risk that you can take.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
And this like goes in like, I mean, our own mission as like the company, like internally as well, right? Like it's because we've experienced it, we lived it. Like the reason we're building this is because we're building actually a product we wanted for ourselves at that time when we were going through it. Honestly, I blame a lot on like the system because they purposely make it, in my mind, complex because they don't want people to have full control over the finances because they want to be able to keep you in interest, like high interest debt, and because that's what fuels a lot of these different these companies. But we saw that, and so we built a product we actually want to use and use on our own for the generation that is being affected the most by it. Right.
Yeah, I want to add something to that. I think where it really hit home about, like it's kind of closing the spread between what like banks and these more like institutions earn versus what we can earn as just everyday consumers. And I think for me, where it really landed was when we came up with this idea and we're starting to talk to different like friends, family, and different people about the idea. Everyone said, I'm only earning 3%. There's no way I could ever earn more. Like it's not real, right? And then I was like, okay. And then I asked the same people, I'm like, have you guys ever taken out loans, like short-term loans, anything like that? And most of them were, yeah. Like I've taken out a short-term loan for a wedding ring, or I took out a short-term loan for like a trip or something like that. And I was like, okay, like what rates were you paying on these short-term loans? and it was between 10 to 15%. And I was like, okay, then there's the example. If you yourself are willing to take out the short-term loan at 10 to 15%, but you're saying the max the bank could ever pay you is 3%. I think now we're starting to find where the spread exists and why we're able to push this number a bit higher, because it does exist, but it's being eaten by the institutions.
And why don't you go into kind of how the app works and like the safety, security, and where, or either of you could go into it, but I think it's important to, highlight the security and safety of Symphony.
Yeah, so I guess I mentioned earlier, it's built on this infrastructure we created years ago that processed, we like $500 million in volume, and we got audited and everything like that. And the cool part is whenever you put money into Symphony, it's completely under the custody of your own wallet. So at no point does Symphony control your funds or really any third party. You have full control over all the assets you have in Symphony and where they get allocated. And this is just a way we enhance the security of the system a lot, where the custody stays to yourself and the funds are kept secure in your account. But yeah, if you want to go deeper into how the funds are allocated.
Yeah, so there's basically like 3 different ways we earn the yield for the user. The first one is US Treasury bills, and everyone's familiar with them. They're custodied at Alpaca, our partner, and that covers up to $75 million per person insured by SIPC insurance. So everyone knows the risk of US Treasury bills. It's one of the safest investment vehicles in the world.
Yep.
Second way is private credit. So we use Foss and Nara behind the scenes there. They have 16 years of track record, like $5-6 billion in AUM, and they've been doing this for a very, very long time. They help us get yields when it comes to essentially giving out loans to different providers. The same way banks do. Banks usually get around 10% on what you put inside their accounts, and they give you back 0.01%. Maybe they give you 2% max, but they're getting around 10%. You can have the exact same type of loans.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we use like a very, very similar system to what banks are kind of doing behind the scenes. And the third way is over collateralized lending.
To add on to that too, is like being from like an infrastructure play into like this like consumer app, it's like we've seen the benefits and the downsides of both worlds, right? From Web 2 and Web 3. We're able to like marry them, like bring all the benefits from Web 3 into like these kind of different things that we're doing. And the point like he just made, right, is I don't think when people put money into their savings account, they actually realize how they're making yield or how the bank's actually paying them, and that's very important. But with Web3, one of the benefits there was like a huge ethos on like trustless infrastructure, right? Where everything's meant to be where you never have to have trust for the other counterparty because everything's either defined by the code, not by a person or not by a third party. And also it's with the lending, over collateralized lending, you have the peace of mind that like everything that's being borrowed isn't being fractionally set out. So when there's any defaults or when anybody, can't pay back their loan, there's not a domino effect that you see like you happen in the traditional markets. But those are something that we really focused on, but also with private credit. With us, what we do is we actually spread it out over like thousands of different individual private credit positions. So any one thing that ever happens, very, very minimally, if at all, impacts any of those kind of things. So it's very like diversified risk, and then we also spread that across all the safest investment vehicles that even banks and big institutions do on their own. But we just pay you fairly for it. That's the real difference.
And so it's very simple. So Ben, you walk me through the app. Like walk me through just like the process of you download the app, you deposit money in.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, and this is what some of the design you're mentioning around like meditation apps, we designed it to be just extremely user-friendly and simple to use. So I guess while we're using a lot of terms like, over collateralized loans and Web3, the app has none of that. It's you log on, you begin answering a few questions to create more of like a personalized experience about yourself. And then once you get on, you can simply connect your bank account, whatever bank you use in the US, you can deposit. As soon as it comes in, it's earning. And I think another thing we focus on is trying to remove the amount of like settings and configuration. So as soon as you deposit and the money hits your account, it's earning, and you can, it's nothing else you have to do. And the only customization you do have, which I think is one of our more interesting features, is deciding if you want to earn more cash or more points, which is pretty interesting. And we've actually at our events gone around and tried to gauge what people like to earn. Do you want more cash? Do you want more points?
What do people say?
It's been split. I mean, I've met a few kind of travel type people who are just, I want all points and they want to just go right to the flights, and that's cool. Then I met some other people that are like, hey, this is a much better savings account than I could get access to, and I like the cash.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I like to do like 66% cash and then the 33% points. So with that, I'm earning more interest than I would in my savings account. And then all the surplus, I'm just getting in points that I can, use when I travel or, save up for hotels and things like that.
Yeah, and people are loyalists, and I think this gives people an opportunity to save your points and use it on various different airlines and travel experiences. Talk to me about the insurance.
Going into the 3 ways we earn yield, when it comes to the treasury bills, those are all insured by SIPC insurance by a custodian alpaca. SIPC insurance, for people who don't know, is backed by the government, the same way FDIC insurance is. For example, if you go onto most trading companies, your stocks, your bonds, those are all SIPC insured, not FDIC insured. Banks are only FDIC insured because of what James was saying earlier, the fractional reserve banking they do, where they can give out 90% more value than they actually have at hand, which, at some level the government has to be able to say hey, we are protecting this.
Yeah.
But stocks and bonds are always just one-to-one, it's just like a stock. So those are backed by SIPC. Same way our treasuries bills are, up to $75 million actually per user.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Second layer of insurance we have is the insurance on the companies we use for over-collateralized lending. So on the tech side, right, they get hacked or anything like that, that's fully insured by Nexus Mutual. So they cover the insurance there. And the third layer of insurance is a reserve fund as well. In case anything happens, our partners have a reserve fund to, give everyone's money back.
Yeah, one more layer to add in addition to the insurance is it's really important to get audits in our industry. So Symphony's been third-party audited several times, meaning we've had an independent agency come in and they spent a couple months with us going through every single line of code we had and how we interact with finance and move money. And we've had successful audits multiple times.
That's the benefit of building for so long.
It is the benefit of
not
building
a
for so
brand
long.
new-
And you guys have been building this isn't just a new concept that you've created. You've been
it's
building
not a
this for...
vibe-coded AI app that people threw out on the App Store, and now it's going to get you guys all hacked. It's stuff we've been doing for a while, and we've been managing people's money handling the flow of it for a while.
For several years.
We know all the ins and outs. We know everything, and we've built it from scratch in-house.
When we came up with this design around 3 years ago, we ended up sketching it on a whiteboard. And all of us, along with the engineers we've grown the team into, have spent a lot of time designing each component specifically. And what that means is we're not, reusing any modules or, taking old solutions and putting it together. Everything has been designed by scratch with our team, and that's what's been audited. And to do it, we've used the best security practices. We've actually onboarded some of our past auditors into the company as well. So we have a huge focus on security. And I think it also helps the fact that we, kind of built it all by hand. We have a very good understanding of how it all works. Yeah. So this is a little bit of a segue, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot of companies that are building technology with AI that don't fully understand their own systems because they're just using AI and prompts to build everything.
It's terrifying.
So it's scary because when there is a bug, I don't think a lot of companies are going to be actually competent enough to debug their code.
They're going to ask Cloud Code what happened.
Yeah, and you can't always depend on that, right?
Yeah,
and
no,
it's going to take you a lot longer to debug a hack or something if you don't actually know how it was built. So I think that's a huge advantage we have building it all ourselves by hand. Over 3 years ago, it's that we understand the infrastructure so well. It's processed $500 million in volume, hasn't lost a single dollar, and has been audited, and we have such a deep understanding of the technology that moves the money.
Safe and secure. That's what everybody likes to hear. Things are safe and secure.
That's a summary of what
safe, secure, and insured.
Yeah.
James, you had an integral role on building the interface and the vision and you made the design come to life. What was some of your inspiration behind building the app?
When I was designing the app, I actually drew a lot of stuff that I liked. So I was I would look at actually a lot of inspiration from meditation apps because honestly, one of our ethos for the app is that like finance should be kind of like a part of your self-care routine. Like it should feel something like you want to do that's helping you but not stressful. I also drew a lot of inspiration, ironically, from like video games I play, like how simple it is, how like you can make things exciting and fun and keep people in like that kind of loop, which is good because a lot of finance apps use that same kind of motivation, but for like incentivizing the wrong things, right? Incentivizing you to spend more, swipe more, go in more debt. For us, it was like we want to take that same kind of like, dopamine hits and funness, and bring it into a way that's actually feels fun, but you're actually growing your financial future.
Let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So what is okay, so what do you guys like to do for fun? What do you like to do on your downtime?
Downtime.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say there's like two big things, I guess three big things. One is lifting. I was deep into powerlifting stuff like a few years ago. Not as much deep into powerlifting stuff specifically now, but just working out, I guess. Other thing is concerts. I like EDM a lot, like house music, trance music, and things like that.
Love it.
And living in New York, the best DJs come here like every month essentially.
Yeah, you're spoiled.
Yeah, I'm spoiled with like the best DJs coming, so you kind of have to. And yeah, third thing is traveling.
So what about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think traveling is a core one that brings a lot of us together. I think us and our fourth co-founder, we spent a lot of time having retreats in different countries, like getting a villa and just working together and being in like a beautiful environment. So I think that's one of the big ones I love doing. And I also just like spending a lot of time on the water. So I'm a licensed ship captain. I got when I was a bit younger, so I love to go on boats and go fishing and stuff like that. So
Love it. Ship captain.
yeah,
Jeez.
Captain Ben.
Captain Ben. New name.
He's got the certificate and everything. It's
Yeah.
official. Yeah, that's good.
my
amazing.
diploma.
Not even just the title. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, mine, yeah, definitely traveling. I would say like it's my favorite thing. I think that, and then what I really got into more is actually like hiking and like those kind of things.
Where's your favorite place to hike?
Well, right now in South Carolina is not like the best hiking because it's like hot. But like when I was out west, like California, Colorado, beautiful out there.
I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, like you guys were talking about, just touching grass, going outside, connecting with nature, going to concerts, being with friends, traveling, boating. Okay, cool. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add?
Download the app.
Yeah, download
Download the app.
Yeah.
for a short period of time, for at least like the next few weeks-ish. We're doing like a 100K points bonus for joining. DM any of us on Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn, and we're open to any feedback.
Input from our community and our real users. We were always talking to them like every day. Right? Most companies in the Web2 world, you never see the founder, you never talk to the founder, but we're talking to our users like almost every day. I want to continue that, especially with this app, is having that feedback, because it's an app that I want you to feel like you helped us build with you, for you. It's specific to you, and that's important.
And then we also have the referral program.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can get to the referral program really quick. So, yeah, we want to reward everyone who joins, also for bringing on their friends. It's a big thing for us, especially because I think the app is very social. Points and miles are a very social concept. If you're out with dinner with your friends, I'm sure someone's like, I'll grab the bills, I want the points, or something like that, right? People love also talking about how they got their flights for free with points. So points and miles as a concept is a very social thing. And the way the referral system works is that for whoever you bring in, the more they deposit, the more you actually earn extra bonus points as well. So you can get up to, I believe, almost like 5,000 points for bringing someone on if they deposit a good amount.
What excites me is that it's for everyone. I think the app, it's age neutral. It's made for everyone. It's easy to use. It's very seamless. My mom could use it. I think you do like the grandmother test. If your grandma can use it and she could play around with the app, and we're winning.